轮到阿笋了，在你心中长歌是一个什么样的形象？你来形容他一下，用几个词语。爱情骗子深入人心。
我刚想说爱情骗子里长歌，但是就是有一说一啊，我觉得就是长安城里最皎洁的白月光吧，然后也是在阿笋心中独一无二的奇女子。
这个歌词你也给满分。
Quiet start. The studio that afternoon was filled with the light of spotlights bouncing on the glass screen. A huge interview program that many fans have been waiting for has finally started. In an elegant guest chair, Dilraba Dilmurat, a famous star with an alluring smile, sat majestically dressed in a simple but classy white dress. Beside him, Chen Feiyu, a young actor with an aura full of serenity, sat with a look full of confidence. Since the two were announced to be present together at the event, the public has been busy talking about possible interactions that will arise. Why not? These two names are dominating the Chinese entertainment world. However, what will happen behind the laughter, jokes, and simple questions is far from anyone's guess. Early warmth. The interview began with a warm atmosphere. The host asks light questions about the experience of filming, unique habits on the set, to favorite food. Dilraba replied with her sweet style, full of smiles that immediately made the room seem to shine. Chen Feiyu occasionally chimed in with short comments that made the audience in the studio laugh. "Chin, what surprised you the most about working with Dilraba?" asked the host in a joking tone. Feiyu turned her head briefly, her eyes staring at Dilraba for a moment. There was something there, a gaze too deep for just a light answer. "The most surprising?" Feiyu let out a small sigh. "Maybe, how sincere he is in every moment." Dilraba laughed lightly, trying to break the atmosphere. But for some reason, his heart trembled hearing that answer. Questions that are getting serious. The host continued the interview with deeper questions. They were asked about the pressure of popularity, how to deal with public comments, to what success means to them. Feiyu replied wisely, while Dilraba explained with full sincerity. But when it was Chen's turn again, he seemed to think longer than usual. When it comes to meaning, maybe the biggest meaning is not on the screen, but in simple moments that the camera doesn't see, he said quietly. Dilraba spontaneously turned her head, slightly confused by the direction of the answer. Something feels different. Secrets between the lines. When the host asked about the personal relationship, Chen Feiyu smiled faintly. He usually keeps his privacy quite enough, but this time his expression looks different. "I think there are a lot of things I've never said," he said, giving the studio audience a small standing ovation. Dilraba tried to remain calm, although her heart began to wonder. He looked at Chen, as if asking for an explanation silently. "For example?" insisted the host curiously. Feiyu just stared ahead. "Maybe it's about someone who always made me learn things. Even off stage, off camera." Frozen gaze. Suddenly, the room that had been full of laughter turned silent. All eyes were on Chen Feiyu. Dilraba is silent. His smile slowly disappeared, replaced by a surprised expression. There was an inner gaze from Feiyu that pointed directly at him. The gaze is not just the pleasantries of colleagues. That's a meaningful look. The host looked confused, trying to read the situation. The audience held their breath. "What do you mean, Feiyu?" The host's voice finally broke the silence. Feiyu took a deep breath. He knew, once the next sentence came out, there was no going back. "Confessions that shake. I think I've wanted to say it for a long time. And maybe it's time." Dilraba lowered her head slightly, her hands squeezing the dress on her lap. He could feel something big was going to happen. Feiyu turned her full head to him. "I appreciate every moment with you, Dilraba. Not just as a co-worker, but more than that." The mood explodes. The audience cheered. The host closed his mouth in disbelief. Dilraba fell silent. His eyes widened, his heart beat faster. He did not expect that the phrase would be spoken in front of the camera, in front of everyone. Long silence. Instantly all sounds disappeared from Dilraba's ears. He only heard his own heartbeat. Chen's words echoed in his mind. More than that. He tried to open his mouth, but the words didn't come out. The host looked at him awkwardly, waiting for a reaction. The audience holds their breath. Feiyu kept looking at him, without hesitation. A look that said he wasn't kidding. The silence felt eternal. Unspoken feelings. Finally, Dilraba smiled stiffly, trying to pull herself together. Feiyu. His voice trembled. You make me not know what to say. The room exploded with applause. The hosts tried to change the atmosphere so it was lighter, but the public already knew that there was something much deeper going on there. Feiyu lowered her head slightly, giving a slight smile. It's okay if you don't answer now. The sentence made Dilraba's heart tremble even more. World reaction. The clip of the interview immediately went viral on social media. Footage of Chen Feiyu staring at Dilraba, his confession sentence, and Dilraba's long silence became the subject of conversation all over the internet. Fans split in two. Some cheered in favor, some were surprised, some were skeptical. Media write big headlines. Chen Feiyu admitted more than colleagues on Dilraba. Meanwhile, Dilraba chose silence. He did not respond directly on social media, making curiosity even more burning. Hanging cover. Behind the scenes after the show was over, Dilraba finally dared to look at Feiyu. You realize what you've done? He asked in a low voice. Feiyu only smiled softly. I realized. And I don't regret it. Dilraba fell silent again. For the second time that day, he was at a loss for words. Because deep in his heart, he knew. Feiyu's words weren't just a sensation in front of the camera. It was a real feeling. And now he must decide whether to respond or leave it hanging in the air. A decision that could change everything. The beginning of something. The interview was not just an ordinary public moment. It became a turning point in the journey of two huge stars. For Chen Feiyu, it was the courage to be honest. For Dilraba, it was the beginning of a question she couldn't ignore. And for the entertainment world, it was a dramatic story that will be remembered for a long time. About one confession that made a star fall silent before everyone.